Hello. What is
Hey,
up?
good afternoon, Wooly.
Welcome to podcast.
How's you doing today?
Doing all right, and full disclosure, an attempt at a normal length episode is going to be made, so please bear with. The normal has become a freakish, horrible mutation that is literally twice the length of the intended design, but
Just like my penis.
there you go. But we are going to actually aim for a normal length show, which, for those of you who've been around long enough, might recall is 2.5 hours. So this is the attempt.
This is the attempt.
I think we can do it. I think we can have a normal
All
length
right.
podcast. I know that people have come to like bite-size this over the course of like the week as they listen.
Maybe
so
2 weeks.
yeah, it's a little egregious, but you know, nonetheless, I appreciate those that do. But yes, this is the attempt.
More Doom review than Tokimeki Memorial review.
Sure, sure. I think any self-respecting podcast can aim for that 1.5 to 2 hour mark.
I hope Tim's doing all right. Have you seen his Twitter? He's been extraordinarily ill lately.
I have not.
He got like pericarditis.
Oh no, that sounds serious. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and then he got like some kind of necrotic lung infection.
Oh, not the word necrotic. That's always
Yeah.
fucking bad.
He described that the bacteria that got into his chest had the word necro in it, and I'm like, oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
I mean, all I
hope
know
he's doing
is
all right.
is that like, we indirectly facilitated him and Ludwig talking, and I thought
That's
that was a
true.
cool interaction. So
Yeah, that is cool.
that's
You know what else is a cool interaction?
Mhm.
Let me tell you. If you happen to be browsing your local Epic Game Store Fortnite V-Bucks vendor and you want to have a cool interaction with your favorite content creator, the next time you make a purchase, you can use the code PATSTARESAT, and that'll help the channel. That's a cool interaction.
right. So the bit can no longer be about Spite playing something for weird eyeball like reactions. The bit has clearly firmly become like ironically play the thing and then get super into it.
The original bit was slightly different than just Spite play it for lulz or what have you. It was... So I talked about this briefly when I played League of Legends briefly.
That's exactly what I
was-
was thinking.
Both of those games have one thing directly in common, and World of Warcraft also had it during its good years, right? And it is when you're playing it, you can feel two things. One is, wow, you can feel how popular it is from the menu, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And the second one is, wow, so this is what a video game with completely unlimited budget feels like.
Yes, I recently played Call of Duty.
Yeah. And it's just, oh, every pore has been money syringed to death. And so this is actually the third time I played the Fortnite. Once I played it when it came out. The second time I played it 6 months later. And then this would be the third time. And this is the time that it clicked. Because I was talking to people about Apex. Because the leaks came out for the Apex. They're going to put a Titanfall character in Apex. I don't know if you saw that. They're going to put the villain of Titanfall 2, I think his name was Brisk or something like that, into Apex.
Well, he was already
And
in the trailer, the first trailer for the game. He was sitting at the bottom.
He'll have a wall run, and he can call area denial Titan or whatever the fuck. And even if that's not real, all that matters is me going, man, I sure would love to play Apex Legends. by myself. Like, and ensued was the conversation that happens every time I make the mistake of saying that out loud. Is somebody comes out of nowhere, goes, "It has solo queue now," and I go, "Really?" And they go, "Yeah, you can queue by yourself against an entire game of teams of 3. Good solo queue. That's exactly what I mean when I say I want to play Apex Legends by myself.
So you got your solo queue in Fortnite, and it sounds like you enjoyed it. How many people exploded into a tower of construction blocks upon being shot?
Yeah, there's that nice little image of like Tetris 99 and Fortnite and I think Apex, which is like, does somebody turn into a 4-story building when you shoot them, and are you happy about it?
Yeah.
With Tetris 99 being the only one that's yes and yes. I'm gonna say maybe sub 10% of all people.
Because that is easily the most unappealing thing about the entire game to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is sub 10% of all players that I've seen. Just they get hit once and they just instantly turn into a building. And what's actually much more interesting than that is that, how do I put this? Do you remember that match of Third Strike that I played against Min where he did the full Daigo parry?
Vaguely.
Okay, so I played a match of Third Strike against Min, and I played as Chun-Li, and he did the full Daigo parry, like, no problem. And then I walked up to him and threw him like 6 times in the corner. And won. Because he couldn't tech my throw. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
It feels like, oh my god, look at that guy turn into a building. And then I shot him.
From your building?
No. He poked his head out, and I shot him. That's been most of those interactions.
Okay.
There have been, like, I want to say literally 5 times that I have shot someone and they turn into a building and they go into the sky and then they land behind me and just fucking put a banana up my ass or whatever. And those are the true iPhone kids or whatever the fuck. But
so you've played quite a few games then.
I've won 8.
How many of those were with real players?
All 7 of them.
Okay.
I want to say, well, the first one was, I want to say 90 bots and 10 real people.
Yeah. So they're still doing that?
Oh yeah, it's really clear. It's really obvious. And it's not the situation where you suddenly jump in and now it goes from bots to real people. It's like 90-10 and then like 75-25 and then 50-50 and then after that it's just real people. But yeah, no, 7 of them were completely real wins against human beings. Now, whether or not you consider children
human
beings is one thing. I never played a game that had a wider skill gap.
Well, I assume that since it's the thing, right? You're entering Disney World and you're grabbing 10 random people around you at Disney World and you're going to go play a game with them.
Yeah.
I would assume that it's such a large base of people that like you're getting an overall massive mixture of people who literally just do not play games with those who play nothing but Fortnite all at the same time.
All the way, the whole gamut.
Yeah.
There are people that like it feels like I've seen like a wider skill gap here than in anything I have ever played. Like people that get the drop on you and shoot at you and shoot at you and then you turn around and then they shoot at you and they don't hit you like a single time. And then they just stand there and then you pop them once and they blow up, all the way to what you think of as like spontaneous building gun generator freakazoids. But the vast majority of the time it's against people that are like normal or less than normal, and it feels great.
do you feel like you're walking into the big party at the video game, like, house? Like, do you feel as if, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain,
yeah.
Because this is the
feels
thing.
like that
this
time
is
we
what
walked
it is.
in
It's the
to
Fortnite.
the Street Fighter 4 side tournament at the Smash Brothers event. And you're like, "Hey, do you guys play Street Fighter?" "Yeah, a little." Bam. Take that, children. It's two things. One is something like you can just there's 340 million people playing it.
It's the fighting game tournament at the Anime Con. That's what you're looking for.
That's much better, yeah. There's 340 million people playing it, and you can actually feel it because it's like matchmaking times are instantaneous, and it's a giant game. Like comparing this to like the experience of playing PUBG was like hilarious, because PUBG it got that head start, and it looked like shit with basic Unity assets, and they never ever got to the point where it was anything other than, oh, I got killed by a cheater. So like no fucking features or anything like that. Meanwhile, like the first game I ever played of Fortnite, I dropped in and I'm like, "Oh dude, I think I can get the drop on Master Chief while he's stuck fighting Deadpool."
What skin did you use?
The brand shit is out of control.
What skin did you use?
The default.
What is the default?
The default is now it is a collection of normal-ish looking NPCs that wear a green like army shirt and tan slacks or tan shorts. It used to be like a guy with like a tank top and like a bandana kind of thing. It's all right.
Did you not have access to Palpatine?
I did not have access to Chancellor Palpatine or Emperor Palpatine. And then I'm like, okay, what's in the battle pass? Oh, Lara Croft is in the battle pass. That's the video game character of this brand synergy scenario. And they know what they're doing, because the first unlock at the very beginning is the reboot Lara Croft, and the second unlock about a third of the way through the pass is the fucking anniversary classic Lara Croft, and then the super secret unlockable is the Lara Croft from the PS1 cinematics with the sharp face.
Do they so all that shit's like time locked, the waves and all that. Is that the
So that was the most confusing thing. When I turned the game on for the first time, I was faced with what might be the most awful starting screen I've ever seen in a video game. It was, hey, get them now. They're leaving in 8 hours. Ryu, Chun-Li, Master Chief, Kratos, John Wick, Sarah Connor, and the Terminator will all leave in 8 hours. Get them now. And I'm like, I just pressed start. I just pressed start. Can you please, God damn it.
Now, I remember also seeing at a time that like gameplay changing things existed, like the tanks or the rolling balls that people had for a while there, the little mech things, and Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
right?
This season's thing is there's a bunch of wild animals on the map, and you can tame wild animals or make special versions of guns with animal parts.
Okay, but all those gameplay elements come and go as well.
They are tied to the season, yeah.
Okay, all right.
As well as like the map will change.
Okay.
So what I discovered about the limited variation thing is that there's a trick. Something like the Predator will literally never, ever, ever, ever come back, because the Predator was on the Battle Pass, and Battle Pass shit never comes back. So I actually just finished The Mandalorian, and I'm like, oh, cool, The Mandalorian's in this. And he was the premier Battle Pass of the last season. So he will never, ever come back. But you know what might happen? They might just happen to sell a Season 3 Mandalorian on the store that has nothing to do with the Battle Pass. Or, hey, this ancient skin that was part of the Battle Pass was really popular. It'll never come back. Except for this new version where he has a red stripe on his black shirt instead. So that's the way they get around it. Where they'll be like, Lara Croft, for example, will be exclusive to this Battle Pass forever. But in a year, maybe you'll get Lara Croft with a hat. And that's a different skin.
Right.
That's different. So, for example, like, Kratos and Master Chief are gone, and I'll pick those up if I want to, but they'll come back in, like, I don't know, 6 months or whatever the fuck. Master Chief costs $45.
In V-Bucks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a good thing people can go to your link and give you V-Bucks.
That's right. No, they don't. No. If they happen to spend V-Bucks and use my creator code, that is Pat Stares At, I will receive 5% of that, which I will then put towards V-Bucks for content creation of Fortnite. That's right.
Cool.
Kratos costs like $34, and like seeing them next to each other on the menu was like really funny because it's like, wow, Sony and Microsoft really just charged the absolute maximum they could possibly get away with on this.
If the CEO farts in your face, is that worth V-Bucks?
I mean, I'll have to ask him.
Okay. Just check it.
Tim Sweeney's still a fucking bitch. Yeah, no, it's this thing where I'm playing it, and I think one of the first things I streamed last week, one of the first things I said was like, I hate this game because it feels really good. It feels hyper polished. There's a million options.
It feels like the most, like it feels like the thing, the party.
Yeah.
It's the room. It's the most.
Yeah,
it's the game.
Like it's slick and immaculate, and everything feels perfect. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. If Virgil showed up, would you play it? Wooly? No. I'm.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
I'm not.
You
Dude.
would play it. What if there's a taunt that he does? You don't have motivation, and it does a variation of the
Street Fighter and Chun-Li and Ryu and the Xenomorph and the Predator are all really good incentives.
Yeah, but
either
what if it was
way.
Wonka?
Yeah, no, I don't care about fighting game or character I like skins per se. That's not.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Using
legitimately
this kind of logic on you is always silly.
It's super pointless. Like that doesn't work. I'm not being breadcrumbed by that. I legitimately feel like, I guess if you can say that. So effectively, the tower system construction thing ends up being a non-factor in most of your games, is what you're saying there.
It is. How do I put this? Like the scenario of
Teppen is a really fun
building
game. Everybody, Teppen's a really fun game. I enjoy it. Working my way up through champion rank.
The I would say in a total game of 100 people, there are five people in that match that will turn into towers. And the question is whether or not, when you get to the final 10, if any of them are still alive. Because like I put up a Twitch clip, sorry, not Twitch clip, Twitter video through the PS5 of every single win that I had, and only one of those had a person turn into a tower.
Okay.
The rest of them were like the same shit you'd see in every other battle royale, which is you like skulking your ass around a corner in a tiny ring, hoping that you get the drop on the guy. Or there are 3 of you and the other 2 start fighting, and you just wait until they're done and you shoot one.
No.
Now it should be mentioned, I'm on the console. I'm on the PlayStation 5.
Right.
I'm not on the PC.
But it's no. But you're playing with crossplay people.
Yeah, but it still attempts to fill your game with people from your console first,
right,
and then crossplay afterwards. Nice. The crossplay is mainly so you can play with your friend.
That's actually that feature is probably worth distinguishing on its own as like cross priority. you know, where it's like you can play with others, but we will try to keep it to the same place that you are. That's good. That's a smart idea. All bits aside and veil down, I honestly I've just never had an interest, you know. I tend to like see the thing that is like, you know, blowing up in one way or another, and in some cases I'll be like, does this interest me? And in Fortnite's case, it just kind of doesn't. It's not to say I will never ever play it. I've never, you know, before the lines get drawn in a bit of like he will never ever touch it. I've never said that I will never touch it, but as it stands, I'm not particularly interested. There's things that grab my attention way stronger, and one of those things, which I'm looking forward to hearing about, is Rise, which I assume you got some time in on.
I did. To finish off that last thought is like, the thing is, I really love Battle Royale. I love that thing, and it's just like I found a reason to absolutely hate every game in that genre, from PUBG to Warzone to fucking Apex. Like, okay, let's try Fortnite. Oh, it's good. Shit. Crap. Darn it.
Enjoying Apex, like I know what makes the games fun. I can see how that, you know, I can see the through line 1-to-1 on that. So I mean, you know, I get it.
But fuck all that. They added dogs to Monster Hunter.
Yeah, really useful.
The dogs, Zangief the dog in video game form has killed many monsters for me. It's crazy.
So
like you'll be healing up, and then the final hit will come from the dog, and you're like, what?
So Monster Hunter Rise, I saw that like you can not only like use your dog in battle as advertised, but you can like jump on its back to do the traveling thing, and you can sharpen while you're on its back.
Yeah.
And other,
so that was
like,
that was a feature they added in, was it Iceborne or just regular world, where you could ride like tamed monsters, and it would automatically travel to the location of the monster you were fighting, and then you could sharpen or heal or whatever. But now you can do it while under control of the dog. Like you can control the dog. Yeah, it was an Iceborne, so you probably never got that far. You can also dog drift and go super fast after you drift your dog. Rise has a lot of crazy shit in it. Like everyone talks about the wire bugs, which is the extra movement and like the special moves essentially. But there's all sorts of shit going on. The first of which is like they put village and you remember how annoying it was playing World, where you would have to see the cutscene in the fight and then you could call for help because they wanted all the quests to be the same. They went back on that, and they went back to the old way where there's single player quests and multiplayer quests. And when you do a quest that has a monster you haven't fought, there's a little 30-second cutscene at the beginning that plays once. And you watch it.
Never again.
Never again. And it goes into the cutscene viewer.
Okay.
So you can, if you want to play with your pals, just fucking goddamn go to the Gathering Hub and do the multiplayer quests. Just do that.
I saw Sunhei, excuse me, put out a really cool GIF of riding a doggo, jumping off of it for extra height, zip lining onto the wall, jumping off the wall, air dashing to reposition, and then getting a giant aerial greatsword swing down on one of these fluffy looking fuckers. And
it's Lagombi. I'm looking at the GIF right now.
Super sick. Really, really
so the craziest
cool stuff going
thing
on.
is that all that movement stuff is associated with the greatsword, which is the least mobile weapon the series has ever had.
Yeah. When I played it, it was stand still and charge your shot up and then swing it.
Yeah. They have there's a lot here. The wire bug stuff, which is the wall running and the aerial repositioning, is all like great. What's more important than that, though, is you know those hits that like knock your character onto like their back and they slide and they do a little roll. You can use the wire bug to just like dash out of those if you have a wire bug like available.
So
So you're no
yeah.
longer stuck in like combos.
Well, that's it. So he gets knocked to the ground and he ukemis back up
Yeah.
with the wire bug. I see that happen. And then in the same gift, and again, I liked it, but I'm gonna retweet it. Towards the end, you see he is in the air charging up another giant overhead, but then makes it an air to air. It seems as if like the monster jumps at him, and then he cancels the swing he's doing into a mid air to air attack, which then checks it back on its back. You know, so. I guess all these big greatsword swings can be canceled pretty much any time into something more functional.
No. I'm watching the clip, and no, he just did a jump and a swing. He just was doing this encounter over and over until he got the perfect moment.
Okay.
So there's all of that, right? Now, Wooly, what you played Lance?
I played Charge Blade for the most amount of time. Then I switched to Greatsword for a bit, and then I ended up on Lance specifically because of that run.
Okay, so
huge fan of that.
So there's a minor feature that has not been publicized, like they didn't put out any trailers or anything like that, but ends up being a bigger game changer than the wire bug mechanics, which seems nuts because the wire bug stuff is so flashy and allows for so much movement. They have a feature in the game called the switch skill system. So I'll use the Greatsword as an example because it's the one I'm the most familiar with and it's the simplest. You remember that you had the Greatsword, it does a big charge and a swing, and then there's multiple swings of increasing strength, right? And then if you hit like, I think it was B on the Xbox, you do a shoulder tackle, right? And the shoulder tackle had like some hyper armor and it would knock you down, but you take damage through it. So switch skill is, it goes, well, what if instead of the shoulder tackle, you wanted to have your character put the sword up in a block and advance? Do you want to just change that button to be a different move entirely?
Okay.
What if instead of the true charge slash, which is that double hit, and the first hit is like the primer and the second hit's the big hit? Do you want to just change that into an even bigger single hit, but only does full damage if you get hit during the animation?
So is it a move list editor or is it weapon specific?
It's three. There's a minor skill, a major skill, and a wirebug skill that you can swap, and it's per weapon. So like the lance, you remember it had like the dash where you would stab forward with the lance while running?
Yep.
That becomes what is essentially charging star instead. It's crazy.
Okay.
Like the charge blade can choose between a variation where it charges up the sword to be stronger, or turns the axe into a buzzsaw where you have to time the hits. Like,
I remember the Charge Blade had crazy. A sword buff, shield buff, or axe buff.
Yeah. Now you can change between, do you want the sword buff or do you want to have the axe so buffed that when it hits the monster, you want to hold down the button so that the fucking spinning saw blade hooks for extra hits and charges the vials while you're doing it. It's crazy. All the weapons have these three changes, and it allows for like this crazy modification of your own playstyle. Do you play dual blades and you want to be in the air all the time? Change your dash move into a move that puts you into the air.
Now, with all this extra stuff on your kit, does fighting the same monsters now go, like, now do you feel like way more overpowered or way easier taking them on than usual?
For the early game, yeah. For the low rank stuff, I've been playing the series for a long time, and low rank is always easy after you get into it after the last one, but this shit is like, oh man, like the 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars have like no chance against you because you can just like the Great Sword's primary wirebug move is really simple. When you're in the Great Sword stance, you know, the one where you walk like step, and it's terrible. It's a dash that sheaths your weapon and makes you invincible and gives you a damage buff.
Okay.
So if you swing the sword and then you realize the monster's going to do like a fucking flip, just dash to the side and you'll be able to run away in half a second, and you'll get a damage buff for your trouble.
Because what it felt like to me when in World with a lot of these slower, lower mobility weapons was like you don't get to run away from this monster's giant bullshit flailing, but if you know the monster well enough and you know the matchup, you can recognize the animation, know when to time the exact moment of your invulnerability, and crush it. But that requires full-on matchup learning and full-on monster learning.
Or get fucked.
Or get fucked, exactly.
Or run in to do the sweep and Rathian does the backflip right in your fucking face. And you're like, oh.
Whereas here, if you don't know the fight well enough, that wouldn't matter as much. Just get the fuck out of its way and then come back in.
Yeah.
And you 100%. Can just swing. Yeah.
And if you do eat shit, you can Ikumi so that you don't get hit by a follow-up. Or you can get so far away that you'll be able to heal. Yeah, the low rank monsters have no chance. Like absolutely no chance against you. Rise is by far the easiest Monster Hunter to get into because they did not scale up the monster like aggressiveness with your movement. It feels like to use a fighting game analogy, it feels like you're playing Marvel and they're playing Street Fighter.
They're still on the old classic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can air dash, you can super jump, you can, triangle jump. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they can't. They just can't. So in addition, some of those switch skills are just better than the old skills. Like they're straight up improvements. So there's all that. I mean, the stages are these gigantic, like cavernous, sloping, mountainous, hilly regions that you're running all over the place and jumping on. The game has completely new music and has more music than usual.
Cool.
And it's great. Like, it's like to anyone who's been playing Rise or watched any streams of it, the music is great. Like, I don't know what they did, but it's fucking A+. And the main hub theme is like this a vocal Japanese track. Like it's like Devila and Popola are singing to you. Like nice. The whole time you're hanging out in the village. And
in addition to all that shit, your doggo's actually doing real damage.
Yeah. They do real damage. They have cool moves. Like you can throw a metal umbrella on them or a giant shuriken, or they can bite the back of the monster to distract them somewhat. And the cats do all the same shit the cats did. But like, it's interesting because in multiplayer, it used to be in World, right? If you wanted to go into 4-man multiplayer, you couldn't bring your cat, right? Mm-hmm. If you were by yourself, you got your two cats.
You replace it with a person, yeah.
And if you had one person and one person, they could each bring a cat, mm-hmm. right? They have changed it. Now, the game kind of assumes that you'll be rocking one dog and one cat, though you could go 2 dog, 2 cat if you wanted to. You shouldn't, because the cat can heal you and the dog makes you fast.
Don't tell me
what to do. But when you go into multiplayer, when you go into 4-man lobby, you still get to take one with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're fighting a 4-person lobby, there are 8 entities fighting the monster.
Yeah, I remember when it got first announced, we saw that detail where it's just like roll out, everybody gets one, even with a group of 4.
And the reason for that, I assume, is because the dog acts as like the fast travel system, essentially. And even during the absolute shit show that is a big monster, one of the larger ones that has a lot of effects, and 4 people and 4 dogs in these giant big maps, the lowest I have ever seen the frame rate drop is to 28 frames a second.
On Switch.
It runs much, much better than World.
Wow.
And compared to the hardware it's on, it's doing like more than twice as much than World did.
God, imagine if it wasn't on Switch.
Yeah, well, it'll be on PC later, so we can all turn it all up, and it'll run at 280 frames a second, while World still fucking crunches itself at fucking 48. Or
RE engine proven its value. Yeah, proven its fucking bones.
It's just built different. I can't talk enough praise about the game. It is a little easy near the beginning. Like, it's like kind of hilarious, but I can understand why, because I had a friend of mine who's an idiot, went into the multiplayer gathering hub and did his first mission ever against a multiplayer monster by himself, and was like, why is this taking so long? It took me like 45 minutes. I had to reload my ammo for my gun 4 times, and every shot I did 1 damage. And I'm like, did you do the village? He's like, no. So then he went to the village, and like, you do mission 1 for the village, and it goes, this is how to move. This is how to open your inventory.
Okay, but pause. How easy was that mistake to make based on the layout? Could they have just walked in the wrong direction, talked to the wrong person, and then got handed the wrong type of quest?
So I can kind of see it, but they part of the tutorial that they must have skipped was that the game makes a very clear distinction that out in the village, like square, the girl you talk to there is for the single player missions. Inside the gathering hub, that is like the big like guild hall kind of place, that is for the multiplayer missions.
Okay.
They tell you straight up, these missions are for a party of 4, though you can go in by yourself if you want.
So it's not like wandering over to the skeletons in Firelink.
No, it's not. It's like I did not read this carefully enough.
Fair enough.
And I just mashed through. I hit credits on it after 8 hours, which was really funny. You remember when World does that too, where you beat like Nergigante the first time and it rolls credits and you're like,
Zora Magdaros.
Wow. Oh, it was God, it was Zora? Oh man. Okay, yeah. You get to like halfway through low rank and they're like, you did it, you beat it. And you're like, no, I didn't. It's even more ridiculous this time because it's really early. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, but don't take away the sense of like accomplishment and the feeling of, hey, like, you saw the main variety of monsters we want to show you, and now come the gods.
So here's why it's extra ridiculous, Wooly. When you first hit credits in Monster Hunter Rise, you will not have even seen a Rathalos.
Okay, never mind then. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will not have even seen one.
Okay.
Like, that's why I'm like sitting in the credits, like, I didn't even see a Rathalos. The strongest
in World,
thing you fight aside from the flagship is a Rathian.
In World, you go to the 4 zones, and then you fight like 3 monsters in each zone or so.
Yeah.
And then they throw you on the final cinematic one, you know, and then you fight Nerd.
In this one, they go, Magnamalo's attacking the village. Can you go kill Magnamalo? And the very first time you ever fight Magnamalo, you kill it, and they roll credits, and they go, you saved the village. And you go, really? And then you walk up to the quest giver, and they go, you may have saved the village from Magnamalo, but oh man, all this crazy shit just rolled in. And you go, okay, fine.
Okay.
There are 2 other big things. One is there's tower defense in Monster Hunter now. That's the alternate mode this time around is tower defense. It's called the Rampage, and it is a shit ton of low health monsters attack a tower defense line, and you build up turrets and automatic flamethrowers and shit like that to fight them. And
are you racing around the map towards like points that are under danger?
It's its own. It's like an arena room. It's really small.
Yeah. That sounds
It's okay. I need more time with it to make judgment. It seems cool, but fine, but okay. Yeah, it's better than, yeah, somebody in the chat said it's better than Zor Magdaros.
I mean,
and I imagine it's
like as someone who's really surface on this whole franchise, I can tell you that that fighting the monster and the challenge of it and itself is the funnest thing about the game. And I feel like the further away you dilute that with extra steps and modes and types, you dilute the purity of what's the funnest about this game.
I agree. You don't have to do it though. Like, it gives you a special type of upgrade, but it's quite easy to get, and so I've been ignoring it. Last but not least, I have to make a little bit more clarification on the because there's a lot of people that just played World. And in World, multiplayer quests and single player quests were the same. It's just whether or not you brought people with you. In every other Monster Hunter game ever, including this one, there is a hard split. There is an entire set of quests for single player. There's an entire set of quests for multiplayer. And they are completely separate.
Okay.
And what they used to do, they used to have it so that the multiplayer quests were scaled for 3 people and fuck off if you had less. And that was its own kind of fun, I guess. But multiplayer for those multiplayer quests was fucking mandatory. What they have done this time around is they do have the system where if you go to the Gathering Hub quests, they will scale for 1 to 4 players. But the difference is, and why it's more difficult, is that you remember Puke Puke, don't you, Wolves? So Puke Puke is a 1-star Monster Hunter World vomiting, I don't know what to call it, iguana monster, right?
Ish, yeah.
In low rank Village, which is the single player one, you fight him at rank 4. He is deep into the Village progression. You are fighting losers on 1 and 2 star. Losers. However, if you go to the Gathering Hub, he's still 1 star. So that's how they've gated the difficulty in the progression. Where it's like in Village, it's like, no, you must fight all of the losers in order to fight something even approaching challenge. Whereas in the Gathering Hub, it's like, no, here's 11 monsters here right now, including the losers, but also the tougher ones.
How about instead of tower defense, doggo drift racing?
I mean, that's kind of already in there.
But like as a mode.
Yeah, maybe. Also of note, and I haven't gotten this far, but I have it on good authority, the game currently has no ending.
What does that mean?
It means that next month, in April, when Chameleos and other monsters get released as free DLC, they will include the game's ending.
So you just beat the list and then nothing happens?
I'm sure something happens, but it's clearly not like the actual definitive like end.
I mean, I guess if the credits already rolled, everything else is just bonus. So,
well, in fact, usually the credits roll multiple times. I have people in the chat are saying it does in fact have an ending, but it is a cliffhanger, which will be resolved in a couple weeks. I'm interested to seeing the DLC stuff they're doing with this, because with World, I hated the way they did the DLC. That timed shit where they're like arch-tempered whoever is out for 2 weeks. That sucked.
Yep.
They have gone back to the event quest came out, download it. It is now in your game forever. You can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, FOMO-based design just is trash. It's just always trash.
Monster Hunter does this when they have to do a big technical change-up. They stretch it. So Monster Hunter World came out with 30 monsters. With Iceborne, it eventually worked its way up to 69, which was very fast. Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, the very first graphical upgrade the series ever got, came out with fucking 18 monsters. And 2 of them were events, so it really only had 16. Fucking Rise comes out with, I want to say, 38 to start, and they've already said that when the DLCs drop, like the free DLCs, there won't be 1 monster this month and then wait 2 months for another one. It'll be a couple. So, like, every game after a technical change ramps up the list and the features more quickly.
I also imagine though they're gonna. I imagine they're also gonna stick with like I felt like for the first couple months after World, they also had like the like, oh, here's the Dante event. Here's the crossover for this or that. So like you can just kind of wait and see like, oh, here's the next big like whatever crossover thing to just jump in on.
Yeah, the way they used to do it is they would say, hey, the Dante quest is available. Go download it. And then just have the Dante quest available forever. Is how it used to be in the older games. Remains to be seen how many are going to come out that way, and there will be an expansion. There always is. But I definitely prefer it a lot compared to that timed stuff. That timed stuff, I never fought like the last 2 or 3 monsters in World because of the timed shit, and also because of like this horrible MR grind that you had to do. And a lot of those features were just like stretch World as far as it'll go.
So that type of feature and that type of design will always the problem with them when you're looking at them like objectively and going like, well, we tried out a new system here. It's FOMO based. It's trying to get people in on a calendar in real life to stay more on top of the game. It works because people will do things out of FOMO, but the data of people tuning in to do these activities doesn't report that people feel bad about doing them. So when you had to get these exclusive costumes in Street Fighter V, and it was going to be, you have a week to do it, and then it's gone, and it's like, oh yeah, like if you care and you want to get your cool Captain Commando outfit, come do it now. And people did it. They booted the game up, they did their due diligence, and they, it does get that engagement up in that way, but you're not tracking that people are annoyed at the feeling of missing out and catching up on FOMO. And even though you're getting those numbers out of it, it's just it's not.
I got the first one in Street Fighter V, and then I didn't get the second one, and I'm like, well, now we're gonna try this again.
Yeah, participation go up, but like mood go down. Feel is bad. So good for them.
Rise is great. Oh, one last thing to say about Rise. The biggest disappointment World had, aside from this monster not being in it or whatever, do you remember how many weapons were like the default bone weapon, but with like some feathers from the monster sprinkled on? You remember that? Very
specifically of a set. Yeah.
Like it was terrible. Like it was like, especially since the old games, every single weapon was like a unique, like bone carving, like techno cave punk fucking monstrosity. They're back to that. Like, I don't know if they got more weapon designers. They only had like 2 on World and Iceborne. Like literally, like I think 1 or 2 guys do all the weapons. It's like no shit. They did. So like, you ended up in the situation where like if you play Hammer, there's like a Rathalos head hammer that's the coolest. But like World didn't have it. And like in World, there's a monster called Glavenus whose tail is a big greatsword, and his greatsword's very distinctive, and it was like a generic looking greatsword in World, and it's like, this monster is a greatsword. What are you doing? That's very important, actually.
I remember using a bone lance that was just like, yep, it's another bone lance. Yeah.
So they're not all back. They're not all there. But it's a big jump. There's way, way, way more unique ones. And this is clearly running off the same like assets that World was. So the next one, World 2 or Galaxy. Yeah, Monster Hunter Galaxy. That's the one. we'll have more still as they catch up to this level of technology. Game's great. Game's super great. I love it. Monster Hunter's great. The same Everybody loves Monster Hunter.
Do they have the same amount of matching Palico outfits and doggo outfits?
Oh yeah, the dog outfits are crazy.
Nice.
I have one that makes my dog look like a yokai horse right now.
Hell yeah. Sick.
Yeah, Rise is great. If you have even the most passing interest in Monster Hunter, you should get Rise. It's a fun game to play. Fun, good game.
Right on. And it runs good. That's good. That's actually the main secret takeaway here is it fucking actually runs.
Every Monster Hunter except for Monster Hunter 2. No, I played Monster Hunter 2. I played every Monster Hunter except for Frontier Online. This is the one that runs the best out of all of them. It's embarrassing, kind of.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go get that later. I want to jump on.
Somebody in the chat pointed out, and I feel remiss. It also has the biggest subtitles I have ever seen in a game.
Yay!
Because it's so that you can read the subtitles for real when you're playing it in handheld mode. But I'm serious. The subtitles cover the bottom 20% of the screen.
That's good. That's fine.
It's gigantic.
No problem. I'll take that over the opposite problem all day.
Oh yeah, you ever try and play Three Houses in handheld mode? It's impossible.
I mean, so unpatched Tsushima.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some rough ones out there. Good.
Okay, one last thing to say. This is important though. Somebody in the chat earlier made a joke where they said Pat said that Rise is the best Monster Hunter to start with. He says that every time one of these comes out. That's because they get easier to start with. If you've held out on Monster Hunter because it seems intimidating and confusing and hard, this new one's the easiest to start out with. It's very easy in the beginning, and it does not overwhelm you.
I'm sure that person felt clever.
It's the best one. Hey, Wooly, you know what happens when you mine a rock in Rise?
Mm-hmm.
You hit it once and you get all the materials.
How about that?
And you can do it from the dog's back.
Wow! While moving.
Yeah.
And just get all of it.
So now you have the little taste of what I was screaming at you about for World. Because in 5 games, you're going to be like, can you believe you had to stop and hit the mining thing 3 times back in the day? That shit was stupid. And then I have to go, you know, your pickaxe could break, right?
And you're saying this as I'm helm splitting from space.
Yeah, at that point,
so, you know, it's fine.
And you didn't have an inventory separate for the stuff you picked up on the map. So if you brought too many potions, you wouldn't be able to carve the monster.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah! Yeah! That's the world!
Oh. Also, I'm just thinking back to... It took a second to get the menu and then shortcut menu for reloading your... Oh, I forgot all about that stuff. That's going to take a minute to
They've significantly simplified and improved that as well.
Like, I want this layout, but I want to just restock it. So, yeah. Okay.
Do you remember back in the day when there were no item loadouts? You just had to take every item from the inventory and put it in your inventory?
No.
Yeah, Monster Hunter 4 is the best Monster Hunter, specifically because it invented item loadouts.
Well,
remember paintballs? Oh, man! You used to have to find the monster and hit it with a paintball before it showed up on your map.
Dude,
and in Rise, not only do they show up on your map, a blue icon shows up underneath them when they're ready to capture, and your cat says they're ready to capture.
So I'm telling you to shut up, but also this is me floating behind Punch Mom when she's doing Demon Fusion. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. You had to go out and back in to see if the right skills would show up on the list and to get the right RNG on the skill you want to keep.
And sometimes you'd have to do that 200-300 times.
Just give me media. I want me. Stop it. I'm trying to keep media. No? Yeah.
No, don't give me media and Megaradine. I want Agidyne. Dude. I'm excited to play Nocturne just because they put the new skill fusion in it. Because, fuck.
Right. So what's going on this week then? Oh no, he walked away.
Watching Golden Girls!
You're gonna watch Golden Girls on stream?
No, I'm watching Golden Girls in general.
Okay.
Great!
That's cool. I mean...
Would you say that I'm more of a Rose or a Dorothy?
Who's the super old, super horny one?
That would be Blanche.
Sure.
She's from the South.
So they're all, like, super dead, right?
I'm going to assume they're dead. Except for Betty White!
99. I believe Betty White is 99.
It's absolutely crazy watching it, because, like, they're in their, like, 50s or 60s. But it's, like, 85, and 85 in Golden Girls time looks like a different planet.
Man.
And then you see a picture of Betty White, and you're like, she's pretty much exactly the same.
See, that's crazy, though, because, like, you get that, and then you look at fucking Prince Necronomicon of Buckingham.
Oh, man.
And you it's like, what is the human being? You know? What a fascinating creature.
Where does the human being start and the orphan blood end?
You know, and dude with his balding hair, like, in about 15, he's going to start getting the sagging lines, and it just... Yeah.
I forget where I saw it, but
the ghoul
think
transition.
It was a tweet where it was Prince Philip comes home from the hospital, and it was somebody going, guys, this man is clearly dead. This man is clearly a puppet. Can you just put him in the ground?
Yeah, wild. Well,
so what's up with you, man?
Well, for me, short week, not much. Mainly just more time on Slay the Spire. I've unlocked all 4 characters, and I've now used them all, so I can say I've gotten the full spectrum. I've also managed to clear the Spire out at least once.
Which character?
Oh, the third one, obviously. Super busted.
Yeah? Oh, man.
So the first time I used the third character, the robot, it was like unbelievably how like I was trying to figure. I got him and I was like, oh, this orb system sounds busted, sounds unfair, and then it turns out it is. And then
for them,
but I didn't even know what I was doing, and I just built up a character that was like, every time I did just about anything, I would gain an electric orb, and then cycle through like 5 or 6 of them in a row and just zap the entire stage. And it was like, oh, you just don't even have to work here, you know? And then like, but I still ended up like getting to like the third stage boss, and then I died. And then I did it a second time, and then the second run, I got a completely different set. I got something that was more built around like dark orbs that build up damage over time as you don't use them, and then you finally play them for a huge effect. And it was just, it's so insane. Every card the third character gets is just really, really, really OP, it feels like. Every style of play you build towards. The second character, the with the skull helmet,
the poison guy.
Yeah. Not
He was the character I gravitated towards.
not much going on with that. I felt I kind of felt like you just kind of struggled more than the default balanced swordman, you know?
Oh, I had a way better time with him than the sword man.
Huh. Yeah, I wasn't
Much better.
no, I wasn't digging it. I was yeah, and it's Slay the Spire is what I'm talking about. And I felt like default swordman was like, I'm like, yeah, I can feel how balanced this is and it's good and you got a good number of attacks. And then second, the poison stuff wasn't really my jam. Third is just crazy. You don't really have to try. And then fourth was the one that I actually think is the coolest in terms of like the mechanics of it, right?
So I didn't get to the fourth. Everybody says they're busted.
Fourth is super cool. I feel like the fourth character is not as busted as the robot, the third, but the fourth is really interesting because what the fourth is about is she has stances, and the stances switch you from double damage incoming and outgoing, which is Wrath, to Calm, which is more defensive, or neutral, or Deva. You can become like divine and get powered up, and so all these different stances you can play cards to switch into. There are then cards that you get to use, or abilities or buffs that come from switching from one stance to another. So when you enter Calm, you get a bunch of defense, you get a bunch of shield, and when you exit Calm, you get movement. Right?
Sounds like my most hated character type, the stance character.
But it ends up being so like your turn lasts forever if you know how to do it. That's the thing, right? If you have a stance that costs one movement point or action point to enter, but it refunds you 2 every time you exit, you can kind of create a system of like, all right, jump in, and when I jump in, I get back an attack that costs 0 right away. I use that 0 attack. I switch back out. I get a movement
attack
back.
is always fun.
Yeah, and there's some 0 attack cards that are like it will fly out of your discard pile back into your hand whenever you switch stances.
Mm-hmm.
So you yes,
that
right.
Everything.
So you get this flow going where you switch into a stance, do an attack, and you get back this 0 attack, play it again, switch stances, and then it keeps coming back, and it ends up being a really smooth kind of feeling where within like a couple of turns, you just concentrate down on one enemy and melt them. I felt like the third character, the Orbs Electric guy, the robot was like taking out like random enemies across the 5 or 4 or 3 that are attacking you, whereas with the fourth you're just focusing on one and just doing heavy ass damage laying in. Yeah, and plus some relics allow you to do things like start with you can start with extra strength, which allow you to concentrate better, or in some cases there's cards that are like cash in. Oh no, wait, sorry, no, hold on. I was thinking of the robot where you can cash in your orbs for extra movement and shit. But anyway, the point remains is that like it feels like the fourth is more technical, and I like the design idea the best, and it's not just completely busted.
I gotta look at that. What's it called? The fourth one?
Yeah, I don't have their names unfortunately at all. Take a second. For
yeah, I remember the robot, the poison man. Oh, the Watcher's cool looking.
So you got the Ironclad is the main one, the first. The Silent is the second. The Defect is the third, and the Watcher is the fourth. Yeah, and the Watcher also gets miracle cards, which are cards that retain in your hand between turns, and when you use it, you get a free point. So like you also get to like gather a bunch of like free option movements.
That's pretty
good. It comes together really nicely. And when you do a sick turn that like gets you like 9 or 10 movements because you've effectively switched from wrath to calm to neutral back to calm, you know, and then gotten shit done out of it. Like it felt really nice. So Slay the Spire is very cool. I can say that I definitely get, you know, the breadth of what's going on there.
There is one big advantage that, because this originally started a couple weeks ago as a response to you playing Fight in Tight Spaces, and I wonder if Fight in Tight Spaces will have this, because a big like thing that Slay the Spire has is the mod support, and it's really easy to grab like a ton of different classes, and I guess the kind of basic art helps in that respect.
I mean, it's in early access, so I imagine they've got to worry about the main game ingredients first. But I would not be surprised if mods and other fun stuff came along. I mean, Fights in Tight Spaces has the system in play and the assets and the maps to allow for customization. Like, I feel as if, you know, if they wanted to, they could even roll out a kind of multiplayer that could be interesting if they wanted to, like, you know, try that out. It might end up feeling a little bit like Hybrid Haven in some ways, and it might end up being like, well, this is just a busted deck you can't beat. But I'd be curious to see, you know, what that might feel like. Yeah, but in any case, very cool. I do feel like the characters that, like, I will say this, that like the different decks you get in Fights in Tight Spaces are not as varied as the different characters in Slay the Spire, because they function in completely different ways. Whereas it feels like you're playing the same character, you have options, you have a lot of the same basic options, but you can just lean into offensive, defensive, counter, throw, projectile based styles. But you're kind of building around the same template. Whereas like the Silent feels nothing like, you know, the other characters.
Yeah.
So I did a bit of that, and beyond that as well, on Get Into Fighting Games, I went back and took a look at Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, which
I hate that game.
It's great. It's the Capcom answer to Capcom Fighting Evolution. And to be honest...
Wait, what?
What?
That explains a lot.
So, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum is... it dropped around the same time as like KOF 11, and they basically, it was SNK, you know, All Stars, and it was fucking great. Like, they did so much more work because it wasn't just a salvage job off of a canceled game like Capcom Fighting Evolution was. This shows you that like SNK went out of the way to grab a number of characters from all their beloved games, and then grab a number of interesting roster picks that are not the most expected ones. So, you know, of course you're going to have Kyo Iori, Terry Bogard, you know, Hao Maru, Nakaruru, etc. But then you're also getting Cyber Wu.
Say
Mars People. You're getting Metal Slug, Marco. You're getting, you know, like Azura from Samurai Showdown, and you're getting a lot of really fun picks, you know, that are unexpected. You get Mars People, you get Mudman in there. You know, they did a lot that they didn't kind of have to do. Last Blade getting representation as well. You know, it ended up being a very like cool roster that then also has a number of unique animations, then interactions with each other. There's a lot of team supers because it's a 2v2 system, you know, so there's unique supers with Kyo and Iori attacking at the same time, or Rock and Terry, you know, like all these pairings that are like rivals kind of doing their special co-op attacks. There's unique specials that only existed in that game that then get exported to other shit later. One of the coolest fucking ones I wanted to do that I was showing was Kyo does his bodega punches into like the ending kick that launches you into midair, and then he snaps his fingers and detonates you. Like, super stylish shit, that was unique to this game. So it was just, I wanted to go back and fucking show off. Like, they put love into it, and it was also the game that was the one with the plot revolving around defeating the evil Juarez Corporation.
Oh, that's right. That was the one about the evil of Juarez.
The evil Juarez was going to destroy the SNK world, and it's up to the heroes to save the day.
To those of you who don't know, we're saying Juarez, and you might think that that's Juarez, like, Call of Juarez, right? Wooly, how do you spell Juarez in Neo Geo Battle Coliseum?
Where's with a Z?
Warez.
An era of the internet that no longer really exists. But if you were around for 90s, early aughts internet, you were around for, early ROM culture, early emuladores, juegos. And
please stop pirating KOF 98 on Kyera, please.
And the Juarez, that was the thing at the time. So they just straight up put it in the game, and the main character you're using fights you, and when he does his level 3 attacks, you can see the actual Neo Geo logo appear and flash on the screen, because he's the hero to save the day and to save the SNK world. Right? Hyaku Mega Shock. So yeah, man. No, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum is just the exact opposite energy of Capcom Fighting Evolution. That was like I had no time. I wasn't even night before like homework levels. It was morning of class while the teacher's walking around collecting, scribbling on your paper to hand in your assignment.
Yeah.
Whereas Neo Geo was like, let's start at the beginning. The moment the assignment comes out, they started doing their history and their research, and they brought these fucking, this great cast in and had a really good time with them. They threw in fucking Neo Dio, they threw in King Lion, just all these badasses.
It's probably the weirdest roster I can think of from like a SNK game.
But that's a good thing,
I don't like a lot of the losers they picked.
Like, they have...
I don't like that Tetris girl.
Would you rather a roster of all Shotos like SVC Chaos?
No, I'd just rather play KOF 11.
Sure. Well, I think they did... To me, this is an ideal kind of situation where you get all the poster people that are recognizable, that make everyone comfortable. No one gets scared seeing too much weirdness. But then underneath all of that comfort is a whole lot of weirdness. And heroes from their respective franchises. So, yeah. King of Monsters getting representation, Bariki 1 getting representation, Savage Rain, all of that shit. It's good. So that's going to be coming out.
Why is Nakamura so fucking popular? Why is she in every single one of these?
She's a pure Hime shrine lady. Cute girl.
I hate Nakamura.
Well, it's just, cute fighting game girl from the era of early fighting games. It's like Chun-Li's popular. Why is Chun-Li popular? She's strongest woman in the world. She's cool. Yeah. So Nakamura came around, but instead of cool, she was moe.
Man, I'm just thinking about like all that SNK, Capcom versus SNK stuff about like Mai versus Chun-Li. And it was always like, man, who's gonna win? I'm like, one of them's the strongest woman in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is not. It seems like a done deal.
I've always given Nakamura more than a pass, because as a kid I was like, holy fuck, there's a fighting game character that has a bird and they fight at the same time and you jump on the bird. That's the coolest shit I've ever seen. It was so unique, you know? And then Poppy as well. Like I like massive kudos to fucking Sam Show for that style.
Galford and Poppy will always live in my heart forever. Because his name is Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dog named Poppy.
Yeah. And you can go for the excuse to say they were thinking like a poppy seed, but you know they weren't.
There's a stretch.
You know they weren't. Anyway, so that's also coming up, getting to fighting games later on this week. Over on the channel we're gonna be having an unusual schedule. I'll confirm some things and I'll post it a little bit later on, but I think Reggie and I are gonna take a look at It Takes Two, the new co-op game from the Fares, Andres Fares, I believe, the No Way Out, A Way Out, and Two Brothers folks. So great co-op times with them, and this is their new game. Fuck the Oscars. That's going to be coming up. And
before you come on back, before you finish this off, I just want to ask you how Adios was.
Yeah, actually, I just remembered that that's coming out this week as well. Adios is brilliant. I think what you said about it last time is pretty much what needs to be said. The less said, the better, because it's such a brief experience. But it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's been a while. I remember when we were in an era of like, oh no, walking simulators, right? But I would say that like that's a dismissal of something like that has like really strong writing like this that is worth your time going in. And
Doc was on Twitter last week. He read a review where somebody just went, "This isn't a game,"
mm-hmm.
to which he responded with what I think is probably the best response with, "Then what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a movie? Is it a book?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a piece of music? No. It's a game."
I think the term walking simulator was not only like sort of like a chastising of the what you're doing, but also of the quality of the story that was being told, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, I'm gonna say here that this is absolutely worth your time, worth checking out. It's a short and sweet story about characters that are very human, and you kind of just you dive into this world for a brief moment, and then you dive out, you know, and then you can kind of I feel as if you can also if you felt like it, analyze the relationships. I felt like there's enough to kind of put together a stringboard of like meaning between people's faces and intentions and things they say, and it has honestly probably one of the coolest little mechanics I've seen presented in a game like this, where it's just about having conversations. The idea of the dialogue option that you cannot say, right?
Yep. Great.
Not because you don't have the stats like Mass Effect, but because
you can't.
These words are not going to come out.
It's just not going to happen.
And you're thinking them, and they're there, but you're not going to say them, even if you try. And what's so fucking good about that is that it does an infinitely better job at painting a three-dimensional picture of what this person's head is like, how their thoughts work, and where they're coming from, as opposed to here's 4 very different things, pick one of them to say. Here's 3 similar things, but there's only one that you're willing to utter. The other two are blocked by your own personality and perhaps traumas.
It's fantastic because in a book, a movie, or even a visual novel, you would have like a smash cut to what is essentially the inside of the character's mind, and they would give you a minor soliloquy, right? They would just get you'd hear would zoom in on a character's forehead, and Giorno would be like, maybe if I shove this fish up his ass, his stand will die, or whatever. Whereas here, it's like, you don't need that. You just need to, you would get, would a fish work? What if I did 10 backflips into the pond, etc.? And then you would go, oh, that's how his stupid brain works during a stand battle. Is this kind of losing the plot? Yeah, a little bit. But I'm trying not to talk about Adios at all while talking about Adios. I'm having a trouble.
Yeah, that was a horrible analogy, and everyone is now way more confused having heard you say it.
That's good.
But nevertheless, let the point remain that, like, imagine a visual novel, except the dialogue choices again are they're not like these are the four outcomes you can try to go for or something. It's just different ways of thinking about whatever you're being presented with, especially if it's a particularly painful or baggaged topic. There's a lot of ways you can handle confronting somebody about something, but sometimes they're just thoughts in your head, and then you stifle them, and then you end up saying just the one thing. So I love that. I love that about it the most, I'd say.
Congrats on somehow breaking the game.
Yep, I QA fielded. Man, everything I played this week, I broke. I don't know how.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know why. But I got some wild shit. I broke Adios with apparently a bug that upon attempting to reproduce, they noticed it can be done within a 0.1 second frame window. So there is a literal micro window of time in which you can do what I did, which skips the entire one of the final chapters.
Yeah, it skips the best chapter in the game.
So that was a brutal one, but thankfully I was able to load that back up and get that going. I feel like the two final ones, I don't want to talk about about the details of it, but I feel like the two final ones are meant to be like, if you're a human being, one of these two scenes is going to land nuclear on you.
So that was the explicit Doc was talking about it, and he basically wrote it in such a way that these scenes are back to back, and depending on your personality and the life you've led, one of these will get you.
Absolutely. And
it covers the entire emotional gamut.
Yep. And so for you, what you said was the best scene in the game. I disagree, because for me it was the other one. Because
the other one's real good. I'm not going to say it got me 95% of the way.
But
of the way
for me, it was just this. The other one was the more real of the two, and it just you get sniped in the chest. Like, that's it. Yeah, you're done. Anyway, Adios. Go check it out. It's on Steam. It's on itch.io. Doc Squiddy put it out, and it's just it's worth your time. Go peep it. And then we also we're gonna have an episode of that coming out sometime this week, I believe, as well. So
I'm tired after beating that.
There's a lot of decisions I thought about making that I was like, no, I won't make them. So I'm curious about how certain other things could play out, but for the most part, I bugged that out for some weird reason, and then showing off some intros with Kyo and Iori in Neo Geo, I bugged out that game too, and just and I ended up running around on a black background because it didn't know what to do. It was so fucking weird, but I don't know, man. I think for some reason, just the QA field has been exerting into everything I've touched in the last couple of weeks. If you want to tune into that, or if you want to take a trip down history lane and learn about Tekken Advance, which I booted up and threw at Reggie, tune in to get into fighting games. Guess what? back in the heyday, when Tekken 3 was at its height of popularity, they made a Game Boy Advance version of that game. And it is way more functional than you would expect.
All right, I'm looking at this.
There is sidestepping. There's stage scrolling.
Sidestepping.
There is a pretty fucking complete move list for a lot of those characters.
That's crazy.
You can sidestep and do a 10 string with your fave, and it's there. Yep. So take a look as we try to explore the world of Tekken Advance on Get Into Fighting Games. It's good shit. Yeah, that'll do her.
Oh, if you want to check out my streams this week, by the way, folks, it's going to be a fucking weird week. Disco Elysium's Final Cut is out this week.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited. Did you know that that it has Twitch integration?
Yep. You can leave it up to the audience to fuck with your shit.
I also want to thank Zaum for sending me a hoodie. I did not know what was going to be on the hoodie. It's a black, normal-looking hoodie with gigantic "fuck this world" written in gold on the back.
Is that official?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just from the top of your shoulder to your ass in giant gold letters, "fuck this world."
Okay.
I am so excited for Disco Elysium. That voice acting shit. Did you see the clip that I put up of like Kuno like screaming about your dick?
I did not, but
it's all there, man. It's like it's gonna be the stream with me talking the least I've ever done.
Yeah.
Super excited.
I mean, I was ready for a happy medium, but in this case, like, they just went ahead and fucking did it, and that's more than fine, you know.
I'm also going to be streaming. Outriders is coming out this Thursday, and I said last week that y'all would get to see a Kenshi stream, but Monster Hunter Rise came out early for me, so I did that twice instead. So this week y'all will get Kenshi.
You're really going in there, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there.
All right.
Don't worry, that'll help soften the blow of what might be a couple weeks of Fortnite once a week.
Once a week, he says.
Not even joking.
Damn, we're really getting in there.
I played it more than Monster Hunter this weekend.
Are you heading southbound with your whatever real Fortnite gamer?
Jesus Christ, you can't even, come on. You know what? You know what I will say? Do you know what jostled my brain to play Fortnite? It was that goddamn song.
Chug Jug.
I couldn't get away from the song, and it's just good enough that it sticks in my head every time I hear it.
Are you familiar with American Boy by Kanye West?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
Just
it's
checking.
not as good as this version.
Fair enough. I know V just covered it, and it's pretty fucking, yeah, that shit's...
No, I know. I want the little kid version where he sounds like his voice is going to crack.
It drills in there. It does. Yeah. Excuse me. It was by Estelle featuring Kanye West. My mistake.
Shame on you.
Big shame. Anyways, once a week.
Yeah, you can check that out over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. Oh, Wooly, come on.
Well, no, that's fine. It just, you know, work League back onto the schedule. And then you got to start playing Valorant.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And then that'll
only
be
once a week though.
That'll be the sketch.
I mean, Wooly, you're playing multiplayer games on your channel once a week.
Hell yeah. Totally. No judgments here.
That's not true.
That's not true.
All right, what do we got?
Let's take a word from our sponsors over here. This week, the podcast is sponsored by food arriving at your door in a prompt manner.
I like that.
I like back dashes. I like front dashes. They're useful tools when you play video games. Sometimes they have invulnerability. But better than a front dash and a back dash, perhaps, is a door dash.
That's good. That's good. It does offer you some form of invulnerability by allowing you to dash without leaving your current position.
Yes, because your current position is one where you can defend. However, the moment you open your door up, there is all kinds of hurt boxes trying to extend at you. You see, but that's where DoorDash comes in.
We live in a world of an omnipresent, invisible, disjointed hurt box.
Correct.
I don't care for it. I want to put a Fortnite wall in front of me. Can I do that, Wooly?
And you might think that it's like a red hurt box where you can block it.
Nah.
But you can't.
Unblockable.
Unblockable. It's not even a throw. It's an unblockable hit. Like Potemkin's anti-air. It's an unblockable hit. You know? So, this is where you call in DoorDash to brave the way through all kinds of horrible hurt boxes out there in the world to get to your door and to drop off the sustenance you need to continue surviving and existing.
I gotta say, by the time I get to my door after the doorbell rings, the guy's car is usually gone.
There you go. That's what you're looking for.
Like they are out of there.
So, and of course, not only is the service coming and dropping off your food, safe dropped as you would, but you can also pick to get yourself some regular deodorant. You can get some morning coffee pick-me-ups. They've got other things besides food. You've got available daily utilities as well that are available. So, yeah, DoorDash is connecting you with all the restaurants you want to get to.
I have bought emergency toilet paper through this service.
Sure have. You know, I've gotten some paper towels dropped off and some garbage bags. It was really useful. But yeah, you're looking at over 300,000 partners in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Canada, Australia. All your neighborhood go-tos, all your regular chains, favorite restaurants, places you want to go, places you're craving. And I've noticed that as time goes on in the 2021, more and more restaurants are showing up on the list every time you search, because more and more restaurants are like trying to get your business, since this is the best way to do it these days. So, for a limited time, listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code CASTLE2021. That's 25% off up to $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code CASTLE2021. Don't forget code CASTLE2021 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
The podcast.
That was inspired, by the way.
Cheers.
That was real good.
The podcast is also sponsored this week by something that, again, is what you want. It's the kind of protection you need. So you're worried about the hitboxes outside your door. And
I am.
They're trying to get in, but you have your door, and that's good. So what you need then, the way you're accessing the outside world is through your phone and your computer and your devices, and those are taking you on the internet. But
that's correct.
What about the hitboxes that are trying to attack you through your internet?
I can't see those either.
Your
I don't know what to
eyes,
do.
you don't know what to do. You need protection, right? And this is where ExpressVPN comes in, because they protect you from the attacks you can't see, the attacks on your privacy, and the attacks on making you watch less shit. You know? I feel like there's two things happening here, and one of them is like, oh shit, yeah, your privacy though, don't get people peeping in and taking what they shouldn't be taking about your personal information.
That's
but
right.
also, I want to watch some cool shit, and I'm not
I would
allowed
like to watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, please.
There you go. Well, then all you got to do is get ExpressVPN. You run it, hides your IP address, so they can't tell you, uh-oh, you live here. You're not allowed to see that. And yeah, it encrypts 100% of your data to keep you from hackers, eavesdroppers, all sorts of other ne'er-do-wells on your network. And, of course, you don't have to worry about slowing down your connection as you stream whatever you want to internationally. So it's just that simple. And yeah, I mean, I tell you, as someone who has made copious use of it on my phone, you just boot it up, click button, it go, and you don't even think about it.
It's really, really useful.
Indeed. So stop handing over your...
My favorite part about ExpressVPN is that right before we got the ads, I started using ExpressVPN.
There you
then
go.
we started doing ads. And I'm like, oh, sick, because I started using it apropos of nothing because it's great.
There you go. So stop handing over your personal data to the big tech monopoly that mines your activity and sells your information. Oh man, if you have not seen The Social Dilemma, I suggest you go watch that. It is very good, and it talks a whole lot about the mining of your data and the way it's fed back to you. And we're in a weird timeline. Watch that. Really, really watch that. It's good. But yes, stop handing over your personal data to big tech monopoly that mines your activities and sells your information. Protect yourself with the VPN. And yeah, that's the one I trust to keep me safe. So expressvpn.com/superbeast is where you want to go. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast to get 3 extra months for free. Once again, expressvpn.com/superbeast to learn more. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Yep. All right. I'd say we're keeping good time.
I'd say so.
All right.
We do have another sponsor, though. A totally real sponsor. Is your dick small? Do you need it to get bigger? Then when you buy V-Bucks, just use the code PATSTAIRS and your dick will grow 3 sizes that day. I couldn't keep it together. I couldn't do it.
So that's promo code PATSTAIRS for big.
That's right.
Big dick V-Bucks.
Big dick V-Bucks. That's right.
They're called V-Bucks because you'll be destroying V's.
Like a buck.
Yeah, like a deer.
Like a deer.
It worked.
Yeah.
You got there.
There you go. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got for news? Do we have any evergreen content this
is that another one? Like the fucking lodged boat in the Suez Canal?
Yeah, the boat's called the Evergreen.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what is evergreen.
They moved it.
Promo code WoollyVersus at Artesian Builds if you want to build yourself a new computer.
Shit! Oh, that's good.
If you're trying to build a PC, check them out. Drop that code on them. Get up to $100 off your new computer. Anyways, hey!
Hold on, I have a Warframe code that I don't put on my page.
He's
anymore.
pulling out a Warframe code. Holy fuck!
Oh no, I don't remember what it is. Don't worry about it. I don't play Warframe anymore.
I would like to start with a story I feel was best captured by Mr. Feels Wild Ride. I will retweet it. I have already retweeted it, but I'll retweet it again right now, just so that it's at the top of my timeline. And what this is... I hate
Mr. Feels' Twitter account because it's always something that I wanted to talk about, but he does a better tweet than I ever could.
It's so fucking good. So the Undertaker rises from the ashes, and it's over his chest. It says "Melty Blood type Lumina," and then underneath that is a reaction shot of Orton, the Apex Predator, and he's just going, "Oh my God!" face. And it says Street Fighter 6, KOF 15, Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Tekken 7, Mortal Kombat 11, Injustice 3, Smash Ultimate, and that one Dungeon Fighter Online game. Oh, fuck! It's Melty Blood!
There's something about the resurrection of Melty Blood from the bathroom that is so fascinating. Like,
this is the highest definition bathroom you've ever seen. The sprites are new. There's new art. It's looking crisp. In fact, it's more than a resurrection. It's a new game. It is a new game, but
yeah,
it's just taking Melty Blood and bringing it back, and it's a little nuts considering, like, the current cash cow that is Fate, that the same company has, that they could have went with on this route, but you know, they like, no, let's give Tsukihime some love, you know?
Back to Melty Blood.
Yeah. So, no, we are fully out of the bathroom now, to be perfectly honest. That's all.
This toilet has rollback.
I would like to give another shout out to HD Kieran for a good tweet, which calls to attention how strong this announcement was. This is how you announce a fighting game. All right. Mm-hmm. Immediately upon discovery of the existence of this product, it was unveiled with worldwide release confirmed, release time frame confirmed, platforms confirmed, rollback netcode confirmed, and answers to questions that get straight to the point about the battle system. Right away.
What questions are those, by the way? I'm curious. I haven't seen that.
So if you go to the site, which is meltyblood.typelumina.com, they kind of talk a little bit about how the system will keep what Melty Blood is known for and what like Melty Blood players who are familiar enjoy about it, but it's also going to be rebuilding it from the ground up in a way. So this is going to be a bit of a Strive situation, perhaps, with some things that are familiar and some things that are new. So like between that and the sprites, it's like at the end of the day, like, yeah, this is a sequel. It's not the latest version of Melty Blood. It really is a full on sequel.
Is that girl in the white just Saber before Saber was Saber? The blonde girl,
Arcroid. Yeah, Arcroid is Arc. She was totally sure.
Is that just a Saber?
I mean, if you want it to be, I believe so. Yeah.
Know.
And Rapid Beats are now going to be in the game, which is a sort of, it seems like it's going to be like a bit of an auto combo system going on there. So sure. There's shots of Shiki, who is looking as dating sim protagonist as ever. He is a Japanese student with glasses and a knife, which means any students with glasses that can pick up a knife can cosplay as him and feel kind of like, yeah, imagine if I was in this world. And then the best part is that to feel like they're powering up, all they got to do is take their glasses off. And now you and your box cutter are super in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go, Shujinko. Shiki Nanaya and Shiki Tono.
I was always blown away at the relative simplicity of Melty Blood's designs.
Well, that's because they're coming off of dating sim art, right? Like, you're coming off of Dojin game art, and a lot of games that are just visual novel Dojin games that like don't have the fighting game part attached have art styles like this that you then sell at Comic-Cat you know, and it took you a couple months on Ren'Py to like lay it out, and then you spend a bit more time after that finalizing it, and you'll see like rough versions of homemade games like this all the time, little garage cases, you know. So it just, to me, that's what the art style looks like.
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay. The art style
I didn't understand a single noun you used in that whole thing.
Right, no problem. Let's try this again. The art style looks pretty simplistic compared to a lot of other like big budget anime titles, or, you know, let's say. The reason why I think that's the case is because the source of this game, which is, it's a fighting game based on a visual novel doujin game, right? You know what that is. And I lost you when you started talking about Comiket and Ren'Py. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck these things are. I just don't know what that is. Ren'Py is a visual novel Mugen.
Okay.
It's Mugen for visual novels. Right. And you just grab the script, you grab your art assets and throw them in there, and then you're good to go. And then people will get together, like Genshiken, the manga, like they'll get together, little comic clubs and groups of people will just work on a little Ren'Py project, you know? And then they'll put it out at Comiket, which is the big convention, and then see if it gets any traction. But in a lot of cases, you're going to see this very, like, time-constrained, we'll call it, art style.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so that's kind of why. Yeah.
It's just none of those other ones became fighting games that blew up the way Multi Blood did.
Yeah. And if they do, at some point you might see the art style change from like doujin anime to like fucking we got money, you know? But there's an artist, I forgot his name, but the artist has a style, and it's this particular style, and it keeps that doujin feeling the whole way through. I would say the same goes for everything I've seen of Toho, right? Toho also has that sort of like budget sort of feel to the art style.
By the way, Wolves, I'm still going to keep listening. I just need to head upstairs and make sure the dog's not choking on anything. I haven't seen him in a bit.
Okay.
So you keep talking. I'll be back in like 45 seconds.
Right. That will occur. What are we talking about? I said Tuhu has that anime look, I suppose. Zun makes everything. Is that who we're discussing? I suppose so. Yeah. I kind of feel like when you looked at King of Fighters 4 Girls, may it rest in peace, we saw the art style soften. The characters we know that have more detail had to get simplified for the dating sim versions. They became a little bit more biseinen in their appearance. I'm gonna say as well, even before that, there was another KOF dating sim, not dating sim, but like King of Fighters Kyo adventure game where it had a similar look to it as well. So, you know, it's what happens when you become a visual novel version of yourself. You lose a couple layers of shading.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just flatten it out.
It's fast, it's easy. Melty Blood is back, and it's fucking immediately got rolled back, and that is also really important for them because the last Melty Blood game also had rollback, but that's not because the devs made it.
Oh yeah,
they released a Steam version of it, and then everyone went, "This sucks. The netcode's terrible," and then the community took it and like basically took the piece, the arcade version, got it working and emulated, and then put rollback in through a command prompt separate booting software, and then people are now playing the game with handmade rollback perfectly, and that's
pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's like you have to boot up a fucking command prompt, you have to boot up a DOS prompt window to use it, and it's not at all friendly to newcomers to like get into things that way, you know. And so what kind of happens is people went, hey, buy the game on Steam to support it, but then get this other version that we actually play for real, you know? And that's a bad look when the fans make a functioning version of your game for you.
So Melty Blood and In Birth, Under Night, Uniclear, they're the same. They're both French bred.
Both are French bred, and everyone thought that when the dev was asking for GGPO tips on Twitter, that it was going to be because Uniclear was getting rollback, but it's not. It's because Melty Blood was being worked on.
You know, I'm very happy for everybody who likes Melty Blood, and I am simultaneously going, man, I would way rather play Uniclear with rollback than Melty Blood.
Agreed. Between the two, I like Under Night more, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, though. I think we're going to see that franchise again. I think, yeah, French Bread is doing all right now. I think they're probably working on something. Hopefully a sequel, as opposed to another update. It would be really.
I have an idea for a sequel.
Nice.
It's going to be called Overnight In Birth. Overnight Pro Birth. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
There's no more. This is as far as my brain will go.
But where's the pun?
There's a pun?
Yeah. Because In Birth is also inverse.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's why they went with In Birth. Because it's like B and V can be interchanged so that it sounds like In Birth and Inverse at the same time. In Basse.
Okay, but I'm not going to say it like that, and I'm the one making this stupid new name.
Yeah, so your name needs to be as clever.
I don't think clever is the right word for that.
Damn. BTFO. EST. Anyway, Type Lumina coming 2021 with all the bells and whistles. Alongside that, some other cool things. A Judgment sequel is apparently in development.
Everyone who's shocked, raise their hand. I better not see any hands.
So this is a rumor coming in from Tojo Dojo, who spoke to a source.
Good name for Yakuza fans.
I love it. They spoke to a source that says, yeah, it's sequel to Judgment, or Judge Eyes, as you would, is on the way. And something about a trademark called Lost Judgment was found, and it was a working title for something that they're working on, with Sega's working on. So, yeah, that's cool. I like that. Like, this is a franchise that, you know, is going hard, and like, from what I played, Judgment was pretty sick. And there's more than enough room to take it, like, seriously as well. So the idea that, like, you know, Judgment is about that 99% conviction rate that we talk about from time to time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Judgment's great, by the way. I beat it a while ago. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It ends really well.
So there's more than enough room to take on more social issues, I suppose, or for more dead serious stories with these characters. So why not? Why not? What if it goes tactical RPG?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Sega's already made tactical RPGs with the fucking, I don't know, Shining Force.
Judgment 2 is good. I would like... Honestly, I would say just, like, as long as you show off some new facial capture tech that gets, like, some more old, grizzled Japanese dudes.
It's... Now, you're way in there now, and it's like, can you think of any franchise or anything video game that's like, hey, man... You want to see how many pores an old man has?
Like, fuck Cloud and his stupid pretty face. I don't give a shit about the pores in Cloud's face. I want to see every crevice on Kuze. I want to see all of it. The age lines, the fucking, the scars. You know? I want to see that. And I want to see that having an amazing scene yelling at Kiryu, who has a stupid anime video game face.
I have to say, one of the best things about Ichiban is that Ichiban has a human head instead of the manga panel turned into fucking video game 3D model that Kiryu has.
It never looked worse than in the high budget moment with him and Awano, and like it's cutting to Awano like way up in his grit, you know, and then it's having him having the stare down, and then back to just anime face proportion man with no lines or pores whatsoever. Like fucking weird.
It's really wild because like Majima and Kiryu are not based off of actors, and as the series got more popular, every character began to be based off of real people, big and small.
Yeah.
Like Human Erection has more detail in his face than Majima does.
Because he's a real person. But
he's a comedian. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Neither did Solid Snake. But eventually, when the time came, they gave Snake a face. You know?
You know what I'm thinking? You know how like cars are like a really fantastic show off of like your new graphics engine?
Mm-hmm.
Like show how shiny the car is. Old people is how you show off like face technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That Quantic Dream test from way back when. It's just it's more impressive when you see it also in when you go hang out at the old folks home in Like a Dragon, and you're seeing background old people NPCs, and you're like, oh look, these are all unique faces as well. They're not just randomly generated, but gray hair and a slouched over proportion. Like they have actual fucking detail, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 6 of them.
But
they're very detailed.
Oops, now there's 5. Well,
yeah.
I think that's what I'm most excited about with Judgment, is just scanning the fuck out of these old Japanese faces and getting all the grit.
There's going to be more Yakuza games. This is a spoiler.
Hey,
there's a new Yakuza game on average every 15 months. It's been that way since 2004.
And then years later on PC?
Yes. It's finally all up on PC except for Judgment.
6 just landed, right? That's what I was told, yeah.
6 just finally came out, so it's finally all on PC except for Judgment, which is not on PC due to some exclusivity thing with goddamn Stadia. So that'll be next year.
I can't believe Stadia is still in the way, in some way, shape, or form. Well, anyway. So yeah, more Judgment coming along. And with that, speaking of Stadia in the way, Amazon Games.
If we could actually take a 5-10 minute break right now, I would very much appreciate it.
Okay. 5-10 minutes. We'll be right back.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. I was about to talk about Amazon Games have announced they're opening a new game studio in Montreal with a focus on AAA.
With the focus on maybe, just maybe, getting a game out the door before they shut that studio down.
The first project is an online multiplayer game based on a new IP headed by a number of Siege devs. So, I don't see what makes this any different from every other attempt Amazon has made at the video game. It seems they're trying very, very hard to understand the video game. In fact, they have even purchased this very streaming platform about streaming the video game.
It's true.
But they cannot seem to figure out how to make one.
Or release one.
So this got me wondering, like, what, ever since the Iron Galaxy buy, what do they, you know?
Nothing.
And,
doing nothing.
Well, yeah, if you go back to the wiki on it, looks like they've been at it since 2010. I mean, they've put up stuff on the Amazon App Store, it would seem. Airport Mania.
Yeah, I don't.
Tales from Deep Space.
In terms of buying a studio and releasing games, the Amazon game studios are at -1.
Well, what's notable here is that the bottom of this list is because basically there's a bunch of stuff that's listed as Reflexive Entertainment, which is not Amazon Game Studios. Then around 2015, 2014, we're seeing some of those games I mentioned, Lost Within and such, to stuff to release to iOS and the Amazon App Store. And then 2018, we got Dragon's Lair as a Twitch extension, the Grand Tour game, and then New Worlds coming out 2021, and then canceled Nova, canceled Intensity, canceled Breakaway, canceled Crucible.
Crucible saying it's canceled is selling it short. That was in beta, released, went back into beta, and then canceled.
Breakaway.
That's why I put it at -1.
Is Breakaway not the game that, like, we literally went to play?
Yes.
I think
remember.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
Yeah, so Breakaway was that game that was actually like they had an idea there. They had the prototype of something fun, but then it just never happened. And then oh god, I don't know what it's called. There's a game out now that a lot of people are having fun with that is like a final version of Breakaway actually. Keats talks about it a bunch. What? Not quite. Shit. What is it? It's I think it's like a 3v3 Monday Night Combat style arena. There's like fighting in it, but there might be a ball that you're carrying. God, I don't remember the name of the game. Mega Rocket something, maybe.
I don't know.
Let me do a quick. Shit, I don't remember what it was called. Rocket something.
That's fine.
Well, anyway, it seemed as if that was a better version of what Breakaway was going for, and then it came out and everyone went like, yeah, that's good, that looks fun. So it's not fucking Rocket League. Holy shit. No,
I wonder how
Rocket
many
League.
people were working on Rainbow Six Siege and said to themselves, you know what, I'm sick of designing maps or
Rocket Arena.
or
Rocket
skins.
Arena. That's what it's called.
Okay. I'm sick of designing skins or whatever for Rainbow Six Siege. Is there any developers that are opening up in Montreal? Oh, I can go work at the new the Google studio. Make a Stadia game with Jade Raymond. Okay. Okay, so I'm fired. I wonder if I can go back to Ubisoft. Oh, there's a new Amazon studio making something. I should go over there. And how many times they're gonna repeat that fucking process?
I mean, look, you could put it on your resume. You can say you did work. You got paid. Like, it's this fucking just brutal thing of like, yeah, if the thing you work on for a while just never fucking comes out, you kind of die inside. But I feel like the industry has been in such a state that nowadays, especially the veterans in this city, have all experienced that at least a couple of times, that they're probably getting a little more calloused over it. And you're just like, well, update the fucking stat sheet, you know?
There's something about Montreal, by the way, to those of you who don't know. Montreal is, and Quebec in general, but Montreal offers very lucrative tax benefits for the game business.
Yep.
Which makes it a great place to open up a studio that you plan on closing down in the future at some point because you don't really care that much. It's the best place to open up a studio you're not really committed to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't see as many, like, full-on buyouts. Other cities have a lot of buyouts, but here you just see, no, we just opened up a whole new spot. And fuck it.
And it's gone. Yep.
Yep. Some do stick around, but yeah, those incentives are very, very high, and I feel like, well, I don't feel like, I can guarantee you that you walk in at any one of these places as they're getting started up, and as you're doing the interview, you can just look through the door and see a bunch of your friends from the same, just doing the same circuit. We're all here. The gang's all here. Hey, oh, what's up?
Hey, yeah, the last one's gone, huh?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's like you found. It's like you found a new bar. You know, like, oh shit,
yeah.
This is where you ended up, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Write it out. We'll see where this one goes. You know, talented people, but yeah. So we'll see what happens.
I'm putting my bets on never released.
Now,
Mm-hmm. This is Google and not Amazon, but I feel like they're in the same boat. When the Google studios closed, that one kind of blew me away, but it didn't really hit me quite hard enough until thinking about the Amazon one. The Stadia developers, they closed down before any game could have possibly come out. Those are supposed to be like big budget AAA games, and they had a year to work on those before they got shut down. Like, what the fuck was Google expecting?
I think, like, it's almost like the Epic Store version of this, where they're like, look, just find a game that's happening anyway and buy that out, is the smarter route.
Oh, way smarter.
Because you're just, like, they're struggling to get something original off the ground for a decade now, and I don't see what's going to be different this time. You know, maybe it will be, but the tail of the tape says otherwise. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, I can tell you that anyone who gets hired in on the executive level will likely be jumping in with a parachute, perhaps even skydiving in to acquire what they can before it all comes crashing down. Because I can tell you...
Do you have any names in mind?
Well, I can tell you that officially one Reggie Fils-Aimé has deployed his parachute after soaring out of the GME burning plane, which has been repaired in midair. But either way, he skydove in, he got the cash, he loaded up his burlap sacks, and then a midair plane repair pit crew saved the plane and changed the engines and upgraded the plane. And he was looking around going, what the fuck is happening? But he never stopped filling.
I didn't call these guys. I didn't.
And a gas refill went down, one of those midair gas refills, you know? But he kept filling up the bag. He was just like, this is, you know?
All right.
And then eventually he looked at the bag and he went, oh shit. Yo, diamonds. Whoa. There's more in here than I thought I had.
And the pilot comes in from the front of the plane and he goes, Reggie, did you do this? And Reggie goes, yeah, I totally did it. I called those guys. Excuse me. I need to put on this parachute.
And then
now that I saved your plane.
And then Reggie strapped his cash to his chest, not unlike a baby in a papoose. And he put his hands out and he dove away from the GameStop plane and pulled his parachute.
Like, I obviously want to sit here and go, I'm so smart. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. But everyone said this is exactly what was going to happen.
I believe Reggie Fils-Aimé said this was going to happen at the press release when he joined.
Oh, seriously?
I believe at the press release he came out and went, yeah, I'm wearing a parachute.
I'm going to stay just long enough to get that signing bonus.
Mark my words. Play it for the jury. I'm here getting what I'm getting, and then I'm out. But I'm here. I kick ass and I take names, and I pump stocks. That's what we do, you know? So, yes, Reggie's out. The play, I'm going to say, a rousing success. And he steps down alongside the other board of directors as the new people take over, and they release statements about what they're planning to do with GameStop and all that. All that stuff continues. Yeah. Fucking... He said it, he did it, and that was it. That was it, man.
I'm literally pulling up Photoshop right now.
He never even had to make a statement or like a press release or any official.
No, he didn't do anything.
He did nothing publicly at all. He jumped in, watched the number go, jumped out. Damn. What a hero.
What a hero.
My work here is done. Exactly.
I'm literally putting it together right now.
Yeah. So, that's what's going on. On the other side of the fence, Sony has hard confirmed the rumors. The PS3, Vita, and PSP stores will be closing on July 2nd for PS3 and PSP, and August 27th for Vita.
Boo.
You can still go download whatever you've purchased, but that's the end of that. Fuck you, too bad. Fuck posterity. Fuck them kids. Did you want to teach or tell somebody about Persona 3? Fuck you. Too bad. What about all three versions of Persona 3 are getting wiped out by this?
That's pretty funny.
Original, FES, and portable. All wiped out. Like, just, it sucks, man. Absolute.
Oh, sure does.
Yeah, so go make the purchases that you want to before it's too late, you know. And then, it's off to the seven seas. No need to rehash last week's conversation. Just a note that Sony has confirmed the dates that they will no longer be selling games on anything besides the PS4 and the PS5.
Sony has put out a statement telling all prospective sailors that ports are closed and the only way to acquire the life-saving sugar and rum you need is to take matters into your own hands.
Well,
upon the open ocean.
Seeing as the canal has been blocked, it seems we need to go all the way around the coast of Africa. So
that shit is crazy.
It's pretty nuts. But I guess it's what we got to do. How else are we going to ship our goods, our spices? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that, like, this type of shit and the Wii eShop shutdown, like, this is worse than new consoles not having backwards compatibility.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I will take a world where consoles just say fuck the past constantly, but the past console still exists. I will take that over the collective digital storefront wipeout.
100%. It's not even close.
Because at the end of the day, like, the backwards compatibility thing is primarily a matter of convenience. Not for everyone, but for a number of people, it's a matter of convenience with, like, what the fuck am I going to have hooked up to my TV? Like, really? Like, a billion things over here? Like, this is too much, But denial of access to these games, it just sucks, man. And I don't know if you saw it, but David Jaffe put out a really dumb take.
What? David Jaffe said something stupid like a fucking dumbass? Are you serious? I can't believe it. Holy shit. David Jaffe of Twisted Metal and God of War fame said something fucking stupid? Oh my god.
Massacre.
Oh my god.
Baccarat.
Okay, so the dog is barking and growling at the photo of Reggie I have open in Photoshop.
Good. Good. That's good. That's a good sign. Yeah, so basically, like, it got into this whole thing where, like, he was saying that, like, people getting fake outraged at, they're about these storefronts going down is bullshit. And, like, it was such a weird thing because the initial take seemed to just be like, ha ha, you're mad your games are down, right? And then everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This sucks. And then further clarifications led to, no, the problem is that, so it's bad that Sony does these types of things, but they should not be enabled to do so. And also, what was it? Game preservation is a bullshit argument because games being preserved doesn't mean that you have access to them, i.e.
Fuck off.
The Louvre has preserved many works of art. You don't have access to the Louvre. It doesn't mean that
Louvre
that art
doesn't safeguard consumer digital products, Jaffe. We can't... Jaffe, where am I supposed to buy and play Twisted Metal Black in 5 years?
No, but this is...
the best game you ever made.
So, like, the separation comes into the idea of game preservation as a word should only be used for, will the data be deleted off of the planet Earth for all time, right?
Oh, yeah, that's totally what people are talking about.
And if you use it in reference to your personal access to the game, then that's more of just a spoiled choice. And it was like, man, dude, like, how is it?
God,
anyway,
he hates
you're
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Or just you doing photoshopping of weird things, and that didn't he hate that weird monkey face too?
He hates that weird monkey face.
Yeah. Okay.
The one that's like, uh-oh, stinky. Zangief.
Oh boy.
Zangief, hey.
Hey. Quick question. Is my face on the screen?
Nope. I can put it up there. Right now, it's my animated background.
What's he barking at?
Right now, he's barking at a serene photo of the countryside because he thinks Reggie's still there, that he's just hiding.
Not me.
No, dude, I don't see you during the podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I prefer that. That's good. I just wanted to confirm that the barky face was not directed at me.
No.
Okay. I've had a couple of those.
Shown the dog pictures of you. The dog is indifferent to you.
Okay, good.
Why do you ask?
No particular reason.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, so anyway, the preservation argument, dumb, and it's like, obviously people are just trying to say, hey, literally the concept of having access to a game that I can show my kids or anyone in the future at all is a positive, and that not existing is a negative. And then he kind of doubled back in this way to say that like yes, it's happens and it's a part of the market and it's bad that Sony does that, but it's also bullshit to decry the game preservation argument. And it was just like, all right, dude, like I was typing up a fucking, one of them Dunkaroos, and I was like, fuck this. I just, this whole thing just becomes nonsense. But at the end of the day, anyone pretty normal can just look at this and see, hey, access to storefront where classic games exist no longer exists. That is bad because the console I bought to play these games on, I can't do that anymore. Now you are like, you're back to physical only, which obviously has its hurdles. And I think we were all kind of building up trust in a digital system over time. From the PS3 era forward, we felt like, okay, this PSN store has been around. We've been able to hold on to everything. And I guess now if it's hit the threshold where they just kind of decided that sales are not enough on a monthly basis for them to kind of keep this going, then they just make the business decision, but that business decision, it hurts video games in a historic manner. And it puts, I would say, everyone's confidence in digital way down.
You'd think that a game developer whose last two games are readily available and are complete pieces of shit would want people to be able to play the old games they made that were good for all of time, so that you don't think of David Jaffe and the only games you can play is fucking Drawn to Life and Calling All Cars, which are complete garbage. Or sorry, Drawn to Death. Drawn
to Life is the other thing.
So that you can go, wow, David Jaffe's like a horrible hack developer. It's a shame the only games I can play of his are these terrible pieces of shit. I guess they were all terrible.
Well, God of War was good until God of War.
Well, God of War was good, but then God of War 2, which was directed by the same guy who directed all the other ones, was way better than God of War.
That happened too. I would, I would, I'm thinking about, the idea of like sales versus server costs, right? Primarily as the incentive or disincentive. There's a factor here, which is just the resale factor, which Nintendo, we've talked in the past, will use more often. Sony, maybe not so much. Sony's not going to pull things down and then do the re-release as much as we would see the eShop do it. But if the server cost was an issue, right, would there be a way, like, just follow my wild logic here, but would there be a way with, let's say, even like a future console that has this more authenticated and worked out. To have you download a game digitally onto your computer and put it on a storage media and then let the storage media go into your console, verify the game, and install it from there.
You mean like backing up your games onto your PC through the Vita?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. There
Like
is
that.
totally a way to do that. That exact thing is something Sony, in particular, has already done.
Can you get games for Vita onto a storage device and then plug them into your and then buy them through the PSN on PC?
No.
It's about you have to back up from the console to the PC and then and then send it back. Okay, all right. So not quite the same there, but basically, if there was a way to remove the server cost issue here by just having the store continue to exist on, well, at that point you're still paying for the servers, though. You might as well just.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what the server
that's
cost
stupid.
is.
That's
we
stupid.
play
That's
for
stupid.
online.
Yeah. That
when
exercise
the
is
PS3
kind of
came
pointless.
out, we didn't pay for PlayStation Plus, and we had an online store. Now we do pay for PlayStation Plus, and they're taking away the old online store. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The cost of servers it doesn't matter.
Man, it's just if there was a way for future digital things to, like be protected in some way, like it's
There is.
Well, yes, unofficially there's the high seas, and that's all there is to it. Yeah.
It's piracy is a complicated topic, and there's various forms, arguments, and circumstances. But it has always been my position, and I think it's a fairly reasonable one, that once a company goes, no, you can't have it, and you go, but I'll pay for it, and they go, I don't care, they forfeit all moral right to non-pirating of that material.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's bullshit.
Yeah, what I just don't enjoy is the depending on who we're talking about, the steps of convolution associated with all of that. So, for the friends that I'm trying to pitch games to, they want a simple solution. They might not play games as often. They kind of just want like, oh yeah, go play this. It's on that, and then they can figure that out. But if it gets more and more obfuscated in the future, yeah. Anyway,
even outside the moral stance of that issue, right? Like if somebody goes, dude, I'll pay you for this, and you go, no, you won't. The answer from the average consumer is, okay, I guess I won't pay you.
I guess I won't then. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I was gonna, and then you said don't, so I was like, okay, I guess I won't.
Anyway,
you told me not to. And it's funny because, like, Nintendo is getting like a fucking wonderful free pass right now, because Sony shutting down these stores is a similar but distracting event compared to, did you remember that they're going to shoot Mario to death in the mouth in just a few days?
Yes, they're going to drag him out back and have him put down 3 times, actually.
It's crazy.
Right there. Just point blank so that he won't feel it. Wooly, video games are a consumable product, exists so that you are able and expected to rebuy these products later. Nintendo just did this shit with Mario. Well, you might have come...
That's not true, and it's never been true.
Also, you might have come late to the conversation where I said that, yes, Nintendo tends to resell these things to you, but Sony does not. So there is a difference here with the way these companies are handling it. They all do it.
Complete nonsense.
Like, thanks for trying. Play again.
Like, you know what's a consumable product? An apple. You know what's not a consumable product? My coffee machine. Or the copy of the thing that I own.
Did you see? Probably not. So there's a subreddit called Asshole Design, and
oh man, that's a fun one.
It's strong because it shows you things that are designed by assholes to be
Doors
assholes
that open the wrong way
to you. Yes, right. And I saw one that was my HP printer no longer subscribes to their monthly service.
Yeah.
So my printer ink cartridge cannot be used anymore. And it straight up is like the warning label on the physical printer is printer will not be able to be used as you are no longer a member of HP whatever fuck service. And it's just like, oh, we're here. We're here now. You bought a cartridge of ink and put it into your printer, but how dare you not be a part of the service anymore?
Going back to the consumable thing for a second, it's like, hey, Willie, if you say you bought a car, right? And the car had a piece in the engine that was planned to fall to pieces within 10 years.
Almost like some sort of planned obsolescence?
Yeah. Almost like they planned for you to have to get a major repair from the dealer, probably. Or get a new car. That's illegal for a reason. It's called planned obsolescence. Yeah, like you said. This is just a long-form digital version of planned obsolescence.
It's a little different. No, it's a little different because the purchases you make still exist on your console and can be played. What you're being denied is the continued usage of that console for new games. And unless you go physical. If you can, which the PSP Go you cannot. It's not 100% the same. It's a denial of the active service, but the main functions will still continue. Online games, probably not, though. Fuck you if you're playing anything that's persistently online. Yeah. So, that was confirmed. And then, a couple other quick news announcements here. One, Ikumi Nakamura opens up her new indie game studio, working on a new IP. That's cool. I hope it's good. She's been doing the rounds, checking out other studios and visiting, and kind of like, I know she's did a tour of a bunch of Western game studios, and yeah, she's been kind of just like, I guess, talking to people and putting plans together, and I guess they're finally done. She's launching her own studio, and does it have a name yet? I don't think it has a name yet, but more to come on that.
I'm interested in seeing what she has to put out, because she was a surprisingly strong influence on Evil Within and Evil Within 2, I believe.
Well, Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be like probably where you get to see most of that. I still wonder
why she left suddenly.
Don't know, but that'll be where you see most of her chops probably. There was that one, and then yeah, quick shout out to a Kickstarter. Again, do your own due diligence, check it out, see how you feel. But at a glance, this looks pretty fucking cool. Astral Ascent, 2D platformer rogue-lite. References Slay the Spire by name and Children of Morta as well in its influence. Really nice pixel art, really nice full portraits for the characters, full animation for what looks like some sort of intro sequence. Rad, colorful, pixelated style, just very, very cool visually. Combat wise, I'm almost getting slight Indivisible vibes in terms of just like watching how many different characters are like hanging out and like on screen just doing shit together. And yeah, this thing is currently about half funded, asking for 44,000 Canadian, and they're at 20.7 with 30 days to go. So take a look. If it looks like something you're interested in, you can check out a demo for it. Apparently, Hibernian Workshop is the name of the studio. And yeah, they made something before this called Dark Devotion, which is something I'm not familiar with, but apparently it's on Steam.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, just it's one of these things where I saw a tweet with a bit of gameplay in it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty. This is interesting. What's going on here?
Dark Devotion looks kind of like almost blasphemous-y.
Yeah, I see a little bit of that there, sure. But yeah, this is called Astral Ascent, and looks cool. Okay, let's take some letters.
All right, if you want to send a letter in, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
One more time.
That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
And yeah, we got one coming in from Curious and Cornelius says, hey, Willie and Pat, now that you've both experienced Yakuza, I was wondering if you'd heard about the East Asian storytelling structure, Kisho Tenketsu. So for those unaware, Kisho Tenketsu is broken down into Ki, introduction, Sho, development, Ten, twist, and Ketsu, resolution or conclusion. You may have noticed that many of the quest lines in Yakuza follow this structure, often with each consisting of one sequence of the quest in-game. It is interesting because now that you put a name to it, yeah, I do know exactly what you're talking about, and the feeling of like a 4-part like side quest where, you know, the third act of it is some wild change and unpredictable turn. Exactly. And then you follow it up with the Prestige. Do you know of any other games that follow this structure as tightly? Probably not, but
no, Yakuza it's crazy how like you break down every single fucking side quest into the same series of steps. It's crazy.
Yeah, the side quests in particular, like I really, like once I started looking at them as 4-koma, that is what just made everything make sense. It's just, whatever you were doing before the first panel doesn't matter. The world spawns into existence and Kiryu drops into the frame and he looks at a radio that's suddenly here and goes, huh, where'd this radio come from? And then in the second frame, the radio turns on and it's the guy doing the stories about, you know, the wild stories from Tokyo and all this shit. And third thing is he's like, oh man, these stories are great. Wow. And maybe I should send in one. And then that, you know what I mean? And then he just fucking takes off from there. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what was happening before or after. You've spawned into a world where he's staring at a radio and he's never experienced radio before. Like, almost like Garfield experiencing a radio for the first time. You know, what does Garfield have to say about the concept of an AM radio? Well, let's find out.
It's not a lasagna.
You know? And you can turn to that one issue, and then he has a mini arc, and then it'll end with the radio getting smashed and John screaming at him, and then that's the radio arc, you know? And then you get your little completion points. Yeah, that's a good thing to keep note of. Kisho Tenketsu as a Japanese storytelling thing, and keep that in mind. Next we got one coming in over here from James says, Dear Raging Bull and Mad Dog of Pat Kuza, while not so much a question, on podcast 11, I remember Pat was saying that he wishes P5 Royal would come to the PC. This immediately sparked a memory of an article I glanced at a month ago. While not exactly talking about how Atlas should be releasing it in the end, the Epic Games Store stepped in. And yes, P5R coming to the PC as a game store exclusive. I feel this is a monkey paw scenario, which made your wish, but it made a bad wish on the bad storefront. Are there any other times?
It'll come a year later.
Are there any other times that you said, "Hey, I wish they'd put this on PC," only for it to happen, but get botched in some way?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, more accurately, I spent years going, man, I wish they made a new Shining Force game, and then they would make one, and I would go, God damn it. God fucking damn it.
I don't know how many of these kids remember what PC games were like before Steam.
I do.
But yeah, you need to take a second and consider that times used to be real rough. I don't
know why it's not booting. I guess I gotta go find this obscure Microsoft distributable.
Oh, did you not? Damn it, dude, you loaned me the 30 installation discs, but you forgot disc 14.
Oh, no.
No, wait, I found it. No, wait, I found it, but you overwrote it with your homework.
Damn.
You used the disc for your homework, and now disc data 14 of 30 is gone. Sorry. You no longer have this game. Shareware, though. Yeah. CD keys.
What was it called? What was it called? Spawn versions that Blizzard did? Like you get the first 10 levels of Diablo?
Spawn key? The keys to give your friends, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, there was definitely the word they used for, here's the key that your friend gets that lets your friend install Brood Wars, but he can only play multiplayer mode with you or other other people. But there's no single player. It's just Brood Wars multiplayer. Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it was a spawn key. Good idea. Kind of like early Steam with the gift copies.
I just saw a piece of news in the chat that I'm going to have to...
All right, well, while you verify that, let me get to the next letter here. Joseph says, Dear Crack the Sky and Downward Spiral, in Azure Striker Gunvolt 2, Gunvolt's route, the way to beat the penultimate final boss requires you to sing J-pop through the 3DS microphone while reading and reacting to the blitzkrieg of projectiles and lasers during the battle. The song name was Reincarnation. Right, the shit that pops up when you power up. Lumen. The sing-along moves to the tempo, so scrolling along the lyrics karaoke style takes 1/3 or 2/3 of the top screen real estate. You can't bullshit by singing muttering in the pitch of the vocals like Rock Band. Good luck not tripping over yourself, as you can't enunciate the Japanese correctly and in sync to the lyrics either. The boss fight is uniquely frustrating standalone, except I happen to be playing while staying over at my grandma's house at 4 a.m. Needless to say, she woke up upstairs to chide the racket and penetrating the paper-thin insulation beneath her ceiling. Have you ever had something similar experienced? Yeah, that is... Wow, Gunvolt. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt a minute ago, because when I saw the footage of part 3 where you're playing as not Gunvolt, I was like, all right, we got a good game here as long as you don't play as the titular character. This is the dumbest shit I've heard about. That's incredible. As if the normal Gunvolt gameplay wasn't bad enough, but yeah. Now you gotta fucking sing at the same time. In key.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good. Sing the song out of May.
I have been able to verify what someone in the chat said. It's from techraptor.net. Sega has filed a DMCA takedown notice to the Yakuza Like a Dragon Steam database page.
Oh,
because they think it is a piracy site giving the game out.
Okay, I did see a tweet about that. Apparently, they've done this in the past, and other studios have as well. And SteamDB is usually able to send a message, and then they revoke it. But Sega is the only company that doesn't respond.
Doesn't care.
And when they send back an initial thing saying, like, hey, this is not, infracting in any way, they sent a second one. So then they just pulled the page down. That part makes it sound like it's not a misunderstanding. They just don't want people to see the stats.
No, that's not it. It's still a misunderstanding. They're just stubborn and stupid.
There's just no human beings involved in the verification
it's a bunch
process.
Of out of
perhaps
touch 65-year-old businessmen going, but it says it's on the web. It's not Steve. It's on the. Just they're stealing it.
Yeah. For those who
I don't care what they say.
For those who don't know, SteamDB is like Steam Spy and a couple of other sites out there, which just show you the stats of like a game on Steam, current users, sales price, everything you would want to know about the game being listed and how many people are playing it, and when it goes on sale and what its general popularity is in different regions and shit. Just metrics on a given game.
It's just a stat page. It's like, and it's using the public Steam API.
Looks like the old Atlas Stegosaurus found his way to this to the next floor, up, and is doing work for Sega. So that's a dumb. And I saw the SteamDB guy. Yeah, apparently was on Twitter going, "Hey, does anyone know what to fucking do here?" Because
the answer is take Sega games off your service.
I mean, is there any what if they just really covertly don't want people to know about how many people are playing their game?
You're giving them so much credit. This is the same company that killed thousands of YouTube accounts that had Shining Force LPs on them because they were more popular than the fucking search results for their brand new game that no one wanted.
Yep. Persona Stars, Russian reality TV.
Die.
Yeah. All right,
that's it.
That'll do her. Yeah, so tune in this week for an unusual schedule. We're not going to be back to Yakuza just yet. I believe V needs the week off for something else, so we'll get more updates on that. But yeah, it's going to be me and Reggie doing some stuff for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm probably going to be playing, like I said, It Takes Two. And if we have time, we might look at something else. And then, yeah, Saturday, I'm trying to get into fighting games, the newcomers, but I feel like I might not have someone ready in that time frame. I'll let you guys know either way, but stay tuned to the Twitter for an announcement about that. And also, because that story I talked about with the whole Buster Wolf tale, apparently that thing got some traction, and the people who made the Mark of the Wolves limited edition thing were like, "Hey, cool, dude, we can do you want to do a giveaway on your Twitter?" And I was like, "Sure." So
give it away.
Check in on my Twitter. I'll make a post about it a little later. But yeah, there's a collector's edition Mark of the Wolves for the PS4 that comes with the art book that I referenced and soundtrack and a bunch of other cool shit. That all you got to do is follow my account and their account, and then I'm going to keep it open for a week, and then I'm going to pick a winner. Might even do it on Get Into Fighting Games. That makes the most sense. That's where we do Black Christmas. And then, yeah, get a free copy of Mark of the Wolves.
You should let me enter that giveaway and then just say I won it by chance.
You can enter it, but your name goes in the list. I can random select. There's nothing
what
stopping you.
Crazy coincidence.
You're not my employee. You can do it.
True.
You can do what you want. Yeah. So all of that, tune in. Wooly Versus on YouTube, Wooly Versus on Twitch, and good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming over at Pat Stares at twitch.tv. It'll be Disco Elysium, Outriders, and Kenshi this week. And if you happen to be watching the podcast live this week on Monday, Peach Saliva's finally got her camera working correctly, and she'll be streaming later tonight as well.
Okay. There you go, folks. Have a good one. And despite our best efforts, we still flew 30 over. That's okay.
I mean, compared to the usual 8.5, that's pretty good.
Seems sane. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good one.